Hey, this is George filling in for Joe and Zan, who will be back with you Wednesday. Today, we're talking about a Mexican naval ship colliding with the Brooklyn Bridge, inmates escaping a New Orleans jail, deadly weather systems in the Midwest, and other top news for Monday, May 19th. Stay informed while remaining focused on Christ with the pour over today. Here's the quote of the day. Does not the gratitude of the dog put to shame any man who is ungrateful to his benefactors? Saint Basil. Let's get started with some espresso shots. 2 crew members were killed and 22 others were injured when a ship crashed into the Brooklyn Bridge on Saturday. The Cuauhtemoc, a Mexican Navy tall ship, think traditional ship with sails, was touring New York City's East River with 277 people aboard when the ship veered off course and into the bridge, snapping its 3 masts and leaving some crew members dangling from safety harnesses. There were no injuries on the bridge, which was temporarily shut down. The Cuauhtemoc had been docked in the Big Apple for tours since Tuesday. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said, "Our solidarity and support go out to the victims' families." Preliminary reports indicate that the ship lost power, causing it to drift into the bridge when it was supposed to head to sea. The outage's cause is under investigation. Here's a verse to consider in the face of unexpected tragedy. On Christ, the solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking sand. Edward Mote, 1863. Seven inmates remain on the lam after breaking out of a New Orleans jail. Around 1 a.m. Friday, 10 inmates, including some accused murderers, escaped the jail by pulling a defective cell door off its tracks and ripping a toilet and sink out of the wall. The hole opened into a loading dock where they scaled a fence and ran across I-10 into a neighborhood. The escape wasn't discovered until 8:30 a.m. during a routine head count. Authorities suspect they had inside help. Someone was watching surveillance cameras during the escape but did not alert deputies, and the chief of corrections suggested the escapees had some type of tool. 3 jail employees have been placed on unpaid leave. Police have notified victims of the inmates' alleged crimes and relocated one family thought to be in danger while the manhunts continue. Here's a verse to consider when you're considering taking matters into your own hands. A person's heart plans his way, but the Lord determines his steps. Proverbs 16:9. The Midwest had a weekend of wicked weather. At least 27 people were killed, including 18 in southern Kentucky and 5 in St. Louis, and nearly 500,000 were left without power after a series of destructive weather systems swept from the Great Lakes to the D.C. metro area. 9 people were killed in a mass casualty event when a tornado spun through Laurel County, Kentucky, leveling houses and uprooting trees. Governor Andy Beshear said the state's death toll is likely to rise as search and recovery efforts continue. Meanwhile, a dust storm blew through the Windy City on Friday, Chicago's first since the 1934 Dust Bowl. The storm was caused by high winds picking up loose soil from surrounding Illinois farmlands. No significant damage or injuries were reported. Massive weather events and natural disasters remind us that all of the world is not as it should be. But Christians can look forward to an eternity where there's redemption, not just for people, but for creation itself. Romans 8:20-21 says, "For the creation was subjected to futility, not willingly, but because of him who subjected it, in the hope that the creation itself will also be set free from the bondage to decay into the glorious freedom of God's children."
So I've tried greens powders before, and let's just say I've had more enjoyable experiences accidentally getting sand in my mouth at the beach. But Field of Greens, I was shocked. No grainy texture, no grassy aftertaste, just a smooth, actually tasty drink. Now I drink Field of Greens daily and I get 2 servings of fruits and veggies without even noticing. No weird extracts, no added sugar, just real food that supports energy, digestion, and metabolism. Plus, Field of Greens is packed with the antioxidants, prebiotics, and fiber I'd get from a fruit and veggie-packed salad, but without the endless chopping. Basically, I've hacked nutrition in a way that I actually enjoy. Check out fieldofgreens.com and get 20% off your first order with code TPO20.
In other brews, here's a wraparound of updates. Former President Biden has been diagnosed with aggressive prostate cancer that has spread to his bones, according to a statement from his personal office. Biden, 82, was diagnosed on Friday after seeing a doctor last week for urinary symptoms. The cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, meaning it can likely be managed. He and his family are reviewing treatment options. Former FBI Director James Comey took a trip to the Secret Service's office. He was voluntarily interviewed by President Trump's security after posting a since-deleted photo of seashells spelling 8647, a message interpreted as an incitement of violence, 86 is slang for kill, against the 47th president. Comey maintains he didn't know the number's meaning, but assumed they were a political message. Save less money, live better. Walmart announced it's raising prices, saying its small margins cannot absorb the increased costs of tariffs. Tariffs are currently 10% on most imports and 30% on imports from China. President Trump told Walmart to eat the tariffs instead of raising prices, noting Walmart made billions in profit last year, exceeding expectations. A bomb exploded outside a fertility clinic in Palm Springs, California on Saturday, killing one person and injuring 4 others. The FBI is investigating the incident as an act of terrorism and has identified the suspect, believed to be the person who died, as a 25-year-old male with nihilistic ideations. The clinic sustained significant damage but said its lab, including all eggs and embryos, remained fully secure and undamaged. Russia and Ukraine have agreed to keep talking. Delegations from the two warring countries briefly sat down in Turkey on Friday, their first direct peace talks in 3 years, agreeing to swap 1,000 prisoners of war each and resume talks once each side has pitched its ceasefire proposals. President Trump plans to speak with the country's presidents today about stopping the bloodbath. And that's all we have for today. Thanks so much for listening. If you're listening on the Apple Podcasts app, give us a 5-star rating and drop a review. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a follow and hit the notification bell to never miss a new episode. We're grateful for your support and hope you have a great day. We'll see you on Wednesday.
If you've ever wondered how theology connects with real life, the Table Podcast is your seat at the conversation. Hosted by a rotating team, including New Testament scholar Dr. Darrell Bach, they tackle issues of God and culture with empathy and curiosity. No hot takes. And by issues of God and culture, they mean, well, everything. Racial reconciliation, leadership, the arts, faith and work, even business. With 650 episodes and counting, there's something for everyone. Follow the Table Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Or watch on YouTube at Dallas Theological Seminary.